guys, this is CHRYSTAL LYNN, and I just thought I would tune in today, and I'm really excited right now because I'm getting ready. My mom and my sister are coming to pick me up, and we're going to see some friends of mine that I grew up with since I was 4 years old, and it just really kicked off in me this thought about compatibilities and about symmetry and about relationships. And so I thought this video is going to be a little off the cuff of just a few thoughts, but along with a lot of emails I've gotten, a lot of questions I've gotten in regards to relationships, how do we figure all of this out? And how can we use astrology to help us? And, what does help when we are looking at relationships? And so, I'm hoping to bring home some footage for you guys today after I go to this thing, just to show you some different connections. So when we're talking about relationships and we're talking about astrology, understanding how they work and how we work with other people, we have to definitely take into account that there's a lot of dynamics. There's a lot of dynamics. And so really to look at your sun sign with somebody else's sun sign is just, doesn't even scrape the surface. In fact, that's not even really the most powerful tool or connection to use. There's a lot of other things that happen. And so what are those things? What are those things? And so I thought today, I guess I'll just start with sharing a little bit with you guys about my personal relationship with my husband. Because I know, and I know it well, and I know how the charts work, and I've discovered a lot of stuff through my own personal experience in relationships. And I've been able to take my experience and the tools of astrology and really see some cool things and how relationships play a big part, and how astrology can play a big part. So let's get started. And the main thing that we're going to think about is, are you looking for a relationship to complete you? Is a question I want to ask. Are you looking for the ideal situation? Do you have this picture in your mind of what, marriage is going to be or relationship's going to be? Do you have this fantasy in your mind, oh, he's going to pick me up at 6 and he's going to have flowers at the door, and then he's going to open the car door for me, and then we're going to go out to dinner, and he's going to take me to a really fine restaurant. And then, we're going to go to a movie, and then we're going to walk along the beach. What is your picture? What is your picture? And in that picture, is it possible to find other people with that same picture? That's really what we're asking. And again, when I go back to asking you the question, are you looking for somebody to complete you? Then that might mean you're looking for somebody that's opposite than you. Are you looking for somebody that has opposite qualities that you don't have because you really want to experience those? If you're going into a relationship to change somebody, maybe you feel like somebody needs you and you can fix them, and if they only had you, everything would be great. You might have to, think about that. Are you wanting a relationship that is a constant fixer-upper? And you may even be able to fix them up for a while. But at some point in our lives, we change perspectives, because astrological things happen, and what we're looking for sometimes at a very young age becomes very different than when we become an adult. So I think one of the first things I want to say about relationships, before you even think about getting into one, you need to really know yourself. If you have no clue and you're just going off impulses and you're just running after the wind in any relationship and anything that comes by, anybody that gives you attention, and you're not really, thinking about what goals you have and what it is you want and how you want to invest your time, I think that's dangerous, because then you kind of end up just getting in relationship after relationship after relationship and feeling really frustrated. So, these are all the things that I think astrology can be helpful at when you're first looking. You've got to know yourself. So, I don't know, I just thought maybe I'd give you a couple of things I look at And what my idea is that I'm thinking about kicking off a series on compatibility. I know the typical, Aries and who they like and all those things, but I'm going to go into a little more depth, and I have some fun ideas for it. So let me know what you guys think, okay? What you'd like to see. And I may be answering a question each week. I'm not going to do a whole astrological profile on a couple, but if you do send me in some questions and what you'd like to know about relationships, I will be responding to those in my future video blogs. So back to a couple fun tips. All right. So first of all, you need to know where your moon sign is, because your moon is really the essence of who you are. It's when you go to sleep at night and the day's done, what's on your heart? It comes from that emotional place. So you really need to be aware of your moon sign. If you have a moon sign like in Capricorn, you're not going to be able to love unless you feel secure. It's like once you feel secure, you can relax, right? That's just something to think about. Now, obviously, we have several planets to be looking at, and they all kind of show different things. So let me kind of give you an idea of what I look at when I see my relationship. So my husband is a Pisces, born February 27th, and I'm very drawn to Pisces people because my rising sign and my moon sign is in Pisces. I'm actually more of a Pisces than I am even a Virgo. I've always had best friends that were Pisces. And it's interesting because all of my Pisces friends, though, it's not like I put them all in one room. It's like they're all, amazing people in and of themselves. And I have different relationships and they have different circles, and it's just really neat. But because I'm a Virgo, okay, so you're going to look at the fact that if you say you're a Virgo, what's seventh house? Seventh house from Virgo would be Pisces. So that also tells you that Virgos are drawn to Pisces. Are they the opposite? Yes. But that's because the Piscean energy that's so free and so creative and so wild, a lot of times needs structure, needs order, needs an articulate mind. And it's the same thing with if you are a Pisces. Seventh house from Pisces would be Virgo. Now, what about if you're someone like me who's a Virgo sun and a Pisces rising? Well, I'm going to have a lot of Pisces and Virgos in my life, and that I do. So we start with that. Now, interestingly enough, not only is my husband a Pisces sun, but he is a Pisces Mercury. Now, my moon is Mercury. My moon is Pisces, right? I, in all my experiences, have really believe that moon and Mercury compatibility is really important. It's really a good thing. So he talks very slow and very dreamy, and my moon just goes, oh yeah, I understand this language. But interestingly enough, his moon is in Libra, and I'm a Libra Mercury. So I know that when I talk to him, he likes me to talk about the balancing, and we have to, harmonious. We do not yell and scream in our household at all. Never fight. We have little e's, but we just don't, because we just both need this harmony. Not only is my Mercury in Libra, but so is Venus. So what does that tell you that I'm attracted to? I'm attracted to Libra men. And he not only is his moon in Libra, but also his rising sign is in Libra. So a lot of times if your Venus and their rising sign is compatible, that's a really good plus too. Okay, so then just throwing out some things to be thinking about. Now, interestingly enough, my husband's Venus is in Aries, okay? But Aries, they like strong, independent women because they like to be on the go, they like to be impulsive, and they like their women to just be able to hold up under it. At the same time, though, they really like knowing that they've got someone that they can count on, that's more stable than them, or that kind of balances out their home life. And so many times you will see Aries men attracted to Libra women. It's the opposite as well. And, they're talking about completing each other. But the thing about a Libra woman is that she doesn't really want to make all the decisions. It's very difficult to make a decision. So she can also be attracted to an Aries man, boom, who's quick to make decisions. So you have that going on. That's another possibility, and that's what I have in our relationship. Now, interestingly enough, my Mars is in Leo. Now, I have been in a relationship with somebody whose moon was in Leo. And, there's some times when Mars and moon conjunction didn't work. And I think in Leo, it's a difficult placement. In most places, it's a difficult placement. Because when you have Mars in a sign, you are exceedingly going forward with that passion, okay? You're doing something with it. And a lot of times you become the accomplisher when it's in Mars. When it's in the moon, you have all the feelings of the creativity. I'm just using Leo as an example, and the need to create, but it can get kind of bogged down in emotional feelings and in things about it, where if it's in Mars, it's just like, pow. So what happens when you have two Leos who both have star positions, okay? I'm just using that as an example. They both have strong positions. They're taking their place in society, in their lives. You have to make sure, are they in support of each other, wanting to be as Leo together as we can be? Or at any point, does that relationship start to become, you're getting more attention than I'm getting? Or the other relation is always having to, pet the kitty and keep him purring and, make sure he feels like he's up on the stand, So sometimes Mars and Moon can be a tough placement, okay? And you see that a lot. Mars in Scorpio, Moon in Scorpio. It's just too much. It's too much power, and it's can be hard to balance out. But what about if you have a square, Mars square in one of your relationships? Well, my husband has a Mars in Scorpio, I have a Mars in Leo, and they are typically squared. Okay, so that creates a lot of passion, a lot of attention, a lot of, oh my gosh, it's like the lion and the Scorpio taking it on. But you have to understand something. You can't just look at those two. Okay, you've got my engine over here and his engine over here. What is it pushing together? It's pushing all of this Libra, which is awesome partnership, all of this Pisces together, which is amazing imagination. Right? So we have our powers going in the same place. They're not against each other. Now, if they were against each other, if all of a sudden you had a problem in a relationship and you maybe had a square Mars to Mars, boy, you guys might be really intense, tense emotions, intense things going on. So you have to look at the whole chart. You have to look at the whole chart. You have to ask yourself, would you want to be married to somebody with the same moon as you have? Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't like to be anywhere near other moon and Pisces. We like drown together. So the fact that, yes, my husband's Sun and Mercury are in Pisces, but, he's not caught in the in-depth emotion of it as I am. He's got a different perspective from it, and he can stand back from it a little bit, and that Scorpio helps him be more precise about it, where I just can get lost in a big, dream world. So he keeps me balanced. He keeps me very balanced with all that Libra. So this, again, is just I'm just giving you some thoughts. I think that Moon and Sun is really good. So again, my Moon is in Pisces. His Sun is in Pisces as well. Now, interestingly enough, because he's a Pisces, 7th from Pisces is Virgo. So I'm Virgo Sun. So he's always been attracted to Virgos and had a lot of Virgos in his life. So, it's just like life just kind of has this rhythm. And the other thing is you want to look at, when I'm talking about the 7th house from your placement up here, you want to look at your sun sign and your rising sign. So, for example, let me give you another example. My husband's ascendant is in Libra, which makes 7th house be Aries, okay? And that can be, that can be a lot of intense relationships. But Aries also represents strong, independent women. Well, Leo women are strong and independent women. I also have my North Node in Aries, and we have come together at a time in our lives that I'm in my North Node, and so he's seeing that Aryan influence in me. That's also attractive to him. He is fiercely independent, and I am too. and so we complement each other, but we also come together. We make it a point in everything we do. We talk about and come together. One thing about Libras is, everybody talks about foreplay. Foreplay for Libras is talking. Talking and talking and talking to each other about all kinds of things and just communicating and how was your day and, talk about the kids, and you kind of have to cover all the bases before you can go, have a good time. So these are all interesting things, but what has been on my heart about this as we start to explore this on a deeper level, if you guys want to. So I'm just kind of throwing this out there before I dive into this whole thing to see what you guys are interested in hearing about. But what you have to remember when you're looking at charts on someone's life is you might see a couple things that are really strong compatibilities, and then there might be some differences. You have to ask yourself, you're not going to change that person. So we're past those years of changing each other, okay? What we're going to do now is we are going to celebrate our differences and allow those differences to make us stronger where we're weaker, which means understanding our differences. So when you're in a relationship, you ask yourself the question, is that something I can work with? I mean, a perfect example is, being that my husband's Mars is in Scorpio, I know that they aren't just very open at all times to very deep personal feelings. So I'm Pisces moon, and I'm like, I could talk about anything off the cuff from the deepest emotions. And I know with him that when something happens to him emotionally, he kind of just acts like it's okay. And then about a week later, if I catch it at the perfect time, and I have to all I can do is a subliminal word like, oh, did you hear from so-and-so? I can't over push. And then I get really quiet, and he'll just open up. He'll start to open up. Now, when he starts to open up, I shut up, because I know how hard it is for him to open up, and I don't want to be interrupting him and having him shut back down. And so, as a person who understands him, I don't go, I can't believe you don't talk to me. You don't talk to me like and tell me everything. It's like when he talks to me and shares his heart to me, do you realize I know how powerful that is and how much that means? Because that's not so easy. And so I really, try to pay attention to that and be considerate of that. And so, if you're with someone who's a Scorpio and you're like frustrated that they're not just blabbing out their emotions all the time, you have to ask yourself, is that something you're okay? Now, I like knowing that, when he does tell me his deepest emotions, that it comes from this place that, is hard to give. I just think that's so incredible. So I know how to work around it, and I know how to ease around Scorpio a little bit, know just when and just where, and that's through feel. A lot of times, my husband and I are very telepathic together. I think it's my moon and his Mercury. We are just like, we'll be in the kitchen, or he'll be sitting down, and I'll be thinking to myself something, just thinking, obsessing over it. And then all of a sudden he'll go, you need to stop it. And I'm like, what? And then he'll just tell me what, I'm thinking about. I know you're thinking about, or, we just look at each other now. It's so neat that we hardly say words because we just know each other's feeling. We look at each other's eyes and we know. So we're very in tune to each other. Very important. So these are the things we're going to talk about, you guys. I'd like to go through all of the different signs and show you how and what they compare with, and show you how to use. There's so many other tools, so many other ways to compare things. I just went off the surface today. So this is good for family. This will tie into our family tree series. And I don't know. I think it'd be really fun. So let me know what you guys think. If you want to email me any questions, I might be answering those next week's video. And that's not my timer. I don't know what that thing is in the box. All right, you guys, take care.